Come on.
This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
Yeah.
My man, Stuart Deming, my first time actually formally, did I say it right?
Yeah, Stuart Deming. Yeah,
Stuart Deming.
That's all good.
My
man.
first time formally meeting you, and you run, it's
XPLR.NASH.
XPLR.NASH,
Yeah.
bro. An account that gets sent to me all the time that you can't be in the Nashville area, the Middle Tennessee area, and scroll on Instagram
Dude,
and
it's,
not see it. Just pops up everywhere, bro.
It pops up everywhere, but I was talking to my chiropractor the other day. First off, I love the Constitution.
Dude,
there.
absolutely. We the people.
Yeah, that's cool. I was talking to my chiropractor the other day, and his mother's in Michigan, and she keeps seeing our videos in Michigan, sending it back to her son who lives here, and but it's happening all over the country, man. Like it's we've been creating content in Nashville for 6 years, and I've been creating content 20 years individually. My business partner's been creating content for about 20 years as well.
Wow.
So we've been at this for a while. We created YouTube videos back in like 2007, 2008. Not together, separately. You won't find them. They're off of YouTube. But like I've been creating content for a long time, and I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
And my background is tourism and hospitality, and so I've been in that industry for nearly 17 years. I've given tours to 20,000 people or so of Nashville. So I know the city really, really well. My business partners film and broadcast, and so we're able to blend our skill sets and just tell valuable stories to our audience.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love all of that. Especially like in all the cities to be in to showcase in the world right now.
Nashville
is at
is
the top.
it's at the top. It is the best city in the world.
Yeah,
one of them. It's like Dublin, Ireland, us, Florence, Italy. I've been to all these cities.
Hell yeah.
The Nashville is a gold mine. And as you can see, there's a lot of people trying to create content here.
Yes.
The interesting thing is a lot of these people don't have the actual hospitality skill set to be able to tell stories well. And I think that's one thing that separates us from a lot of these creators in Nashville.
Yeah, I would agree with that because you're able to showcase. I've found so many hidden spots through you guys. I've gotten to see different restaurants that I didn't know existed because I like going to different places. I'm originally from New York.
I am too.
Oh, really? Where in New York?
Near Binghamton.
Oh, so you're upstate. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's
Are you
awesome.
from like New York City? Or?
So I grew up in Rockland County.
Yeah.
So Tappan Zee Bridge area, like right along the Jersey border. So I moved down here in 2018. How long have you been here in Nashville?
I've been here since 2013.
Okay.
I was one of the first Uber drivers in the city, Uber and Lyft drivers.
God bless you.
I did 250,000 miles in this city. So that's how I learned. Like, dude, I always challenge myself. Can I beat the GPS?
Yeah.
And I beat it 90% of the time.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's our guy.
Even
right there.
even if it's by a minute, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna beat the GPS because
Yeah.
like I know the shortcuts, or I did. Now everyone knows the shortcuts because of Waze. But did 250,000 miles in the city. Learned a lot about this city. I learned the stories and hear about the struggles and all of these things. And I'm like, okay, I've been creating content for a very long time. And I did this same type of content when I lived in Italy for almost a year. And this was for my sponsors. I was basically a missionary over there.
Yeah.
If you need to check your phone, man, it's
No,
all
you're good. You're good.
It's all good.
My car got swiped earlier, so I'm dealing with all of that as I was
sucks.
pulling into the studio. The tractor trailer door, like the back door, like slid out, and it like cut the side of my car. So I'm just dealing with all of that stuff today.
That's
which
stressful.
which is fun.
But yeah, I create this same type of content. Ultimately, looking at these areas and saying, hey, this is how. In northern Italy, how Hannibal and how Nazi Germany destroyed this part of the country, and this is in northern Italy, for example, like they hate outsiders, they really do, and it's because they've over the last couple hundred years they've been invaded multiple times.
Yeah,
and
they have reason.
They have reason to
Yes.
dislike outsiders, but. Nashville is such a place where the collaborative spirit lives, and it's a place it's thriving right now. I just literally, I don't know when you're posting this, but the day of this recording, I just left the governor's address downtown. We're thriving. We have the lowest tax burden in the state or in the United States. We also have the lowest debt out of all 50 states. So Nashville and Tennessee is thriving. And this is a great place to build this brand, this idea that I've had for almost 15 years.
Yeah. It really is. And you kind of got here, 2013 is when kind of like the boom of Nashville started around that era, and it's around those years. And for me, like I was just getting out of high school in 2013. So for me, like looking at it, I got down here in 2018, so the boom was kind of underway, but the skyline, even in the coming up on 6 years that I've been here, is very different. Like
it's totally
the changes
different.
that you have seen in over a decade now of being here, and just as growing into a metropolis of and all the subsidiary communities of places like Wilson County, Wilson County,
Sumner County,
Robertson County,
Montgomery County.
Yep, all these counties around getting that as well, with subdivisions going up or like cool businesses going in, and just the thriving of an area. It's got to be cool to witness. Now you get to document it and showcase it to the world.
And I've been documenting it for a long time.
Yeah,
6 years.
What was the first? What were some of the first projects?
The first video that we did. So we started our Instagram account. I think it was like January 11th, 2017.
Okay.
But our first video came out May 31st of 2018, and it was called The Brief History of Nashville. It's got like 10,000 views on YouTube. So that was our first video, just talking about the 5-minute history of Nashville. And then one of my favorite projects that we did have done on the YouTube side, it's best waterfalls within 2 hours of Nashville. It's at 200,000 views or so on YouTube. What was interesting about that one is we were able to see how people took our content, mapped out their entire weekends based on these waterfalls, and then go experience them. I've been in the middle of Tennessee country where it's like you don't have service for an hour. You're in 5 miles deep on a hike, where I've met people because they saw our YouTube video.
It's incredible.
Which is insane. So that was one of the best YouTube videos I think we produced. August 1st of 2019, we came out with a podcast called the Nashville Daily Podcast. From a branding standpoint, I wish I kept the branding, separated the YouTube channel, and all these things. There's a lot that I've learned in doing this content. We released an episode of a podcast 5 days a week for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
30 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes for 4 years.
Holy cow.
We stopped this August because our Instagram account was became our main focus now. So because we've been doing this for so long, our Instagram account last January was at 9,335 followers. We said, hey, we've done this podcast daily. We've done these things daily. And we were a production company producing for massive multi-billion-dollar companies. So we produced content for Lipscomb University. We've done stuff for Vanderbilt. We've done stuff for other healthcare companies. We were making all these clients millions of dollars on the videos we would produce. And I'm like, okay, I'm tired of making money for other people.
Yeah.
I want to make money for myself.
Yeah.
And I have a family to feed.
Yes.
I have a team, and they have families to feed. And so we dove really deep into building out our Instagram. Since April 1st of 2023 to now, we've grown nearly 100,000 followers. But it's been 6 years in the making to get here. Yeah. We had to learn a lot. We had to understand operations. We had to do these things. Our growth rate right now, we're projected to hit like 225,000 by the end of 24. For a niche market just surrounding Nashville and Middle Tennessee. There's some really cool things that we're working on for international content.
I'm excited for that.
That is 2-3 years in the making.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a piece of international content for probably 2 years.
Because you want to make it right.
Because I want to make it right, and I want to have a library of content. I understand this now. I need to have 60 to 90 videos done before we ever release a piece. But when we come, it's going to slam.
Yeah.
You're the first person to hear this.
That's awesome.
On a podcast. So speaking of that, if you want to come to Italy with me, tickets are going to be coming available very soon.
Oh, so you're doing having that hospitality background, you know how to do trips and tours and do the logistics of that.
I don't have to do any of that. I'm partnering with a company called Colette.
Oh, congrats, dude. That's huge. I
am their host for their tours, and we're going to Italy April 28th of 25. We're going for 12 days. So tickets are going to become available for that soon. It's expensive.
Yeah, it's a trip to Italy. Of course it is.
It's a trip to Italy for 12 days with 24 other individuals, me being the host.
Wow.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Killer things planned.
I'm sure, dude. See, I've never left the country.
Okay.
I've been all over the United States. I spent time as a tour manager for a long time. So I've been
stressful, man.
Dude, with a country band, bro.
Oh, yeah,
I got stories.
Stressful.
Yeah. I was out with a band called Muscadine Bloodline for a while, and then my biggest tour that I was out with Trey Lewis for a long time with Dick Down in Dallas with that whole explosion. So we got to go to all different parts of America, but I've been wanting to go international.
Well, you can come to Italy,
dude.
man.
That would be really, really cool. Yeah. Especially being a New York guy, and I grew up in the Italian and in the Jewish culture, but I'm not Italian or Jewish, which I think a lot of the New York area.
I grew up in the Italian-Irish culture, and I'm Italian and Irish.
Yes, yeah. Which there's a lot of, and I think that's one of the cool parts about growing up in New York, whether it's whether it's around the city or it's upstate, because you do have. It's like one of the original melting pots.
My main stomping grounds was Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, my sister went to Scranton. St. Patrick's Day in Scranton.
It's freaking insane.
It's unmatched.
It's insane.
It's unmatched. I love those kids in Scranton.
They're interesting people.
And the townies of Scranton.
The townies of Scranton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So your sister went to Scranton. I'm trying to think of some restaurants. Have you been to Old Forge Pizza?
Yes.
Have you been to that place, Victory Pig? Have you heard of them?
Oh, yeah.
There's a place down in Wilkes-Barre that has these subs, man, and they're incredible. You have Wegmans there.
Yes.
And Wegmans is remarkable compared to all the grocery stores here.
Yes, the fact that the whole country doesn't get to experience something like Wegmans is a crime.
Suck.
Yeah, it's a crime.
Yeah.
Kroger is not Wegmans.
Kroger, I can't say anything about Kroger. So I literally just signed a deal with Kroger.
Oh, really? Congrats. Yeah. That's exciting.
We're doing a campaign with them, but I'm revealing too many things. But Scranton, man, the Irish St. Paddy's Day, it's insane.
Yeah.
I worked at the Radisson Hotel.
Okay.
In downtown Scranton.
Good spot.
And the office was doing a going away party, and so the Radisson was hosting all of this, and so I was able to check in all of the people from the office, and it was a blast. But St. Paddy's Day it's an experience.
Yeah.
So I've experienced St. Paddy's in Dublin, Ireland, and I've experienced St. Paddy's in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Not in Chicago. I haven't done the Chicago route
yet. Yeah, the green water thing is pretty wild. But St. Paddy's Day in Scranton, they're drunker than they are in Ireland. Yeah, which says a lot.
Yeah.
Says a lot. I actually did a destination St. Patrick's Day. It was in a spot that most people wouldn't go to. My girlfriend Erin and her friend Ella had taken the trip last year. They go out to Park City, Utah.
Okay.
And I went out there.
Are you
for
skiing or are you?
We snowmobiled for a little bit,
Okay.
but it was my first time out in the mountain country, in that part of the U.S. And it was cool, but it wasn't. There's something about being in a town that has Irish heritage, like a Scranton, Pennsylvania. For me, growing up, Pearl River, New York was pretty wild. They call it the village, still a town or still a village of friendly people, and it's 98% Irish Catholic.
Yeah.
You know, so there's something special about being in those kind of towns and in that kind of environment. What holiday do you think we celebrate the best here in Nashville? You think it would be the 4th?
The 4th of July, we do extraordinarily well.
Yeah, I think it's up there with other spots for sure.
We will be the premium city for 4th of July within the next 2 years. New York, on average, has about 1 million people visiting around that time. We're having about 300 to 500,000 people visiting for 4th of July. Personally, I don't want to go to New York at all.
Yeah, I avoid it. I avoid New York on New York City on the big holidays. I've never been to a New Year's Eve in New York City. I've never
done that. I've done Christmas in New York, and it was good. Seeing all these little pop-up vendors and stuff. This is 5 or 6 years ago when it was a little bit safer than what it is now, where you don't have people just throwing liquid stuff on you in the subway.
Yeah.
But I've never done New Year's. I have been in New York for 4th of July. And it's cool, but it's not.
New York City in the summer's hot.
It's hot. It smells. There's urine everywhere, and it smells like trash. And Nashville does 4th of July really well. We also do New Year's extraordinarily well. Thankfully, both of those experiences, I make a lot of money. doing those things, with doing the tours and stuff that I've done here in Nashville. So, but we also do like these random off holidays, like National Ice Cream Day, really, really well. Like that's coming up, I think, soon. But like all these different vendors in town are like, oh, like buy one ice cream, get one free, and all this stuff. So we like to party in Nashville.
We do.
I say this all the time, and this is not something that I came up with, but we're a drinking city with a music problem.
Yes, I've said that too. Yeah.
And alcohol flows extraordinarily well in the city, and I don't participate in that a lot.
Yeah.
But we know how to celebrate, and we know how to throw down a good party.
Yeah, we do. What was the decision making in coming to Nashville from?
Yeah, so
Binghamton?
I actually moved here. I was living in Scranton at the time. I lived with my grandma after college for a little bit, just to be there, help her out, and I moved down here to work for a church, and so I was over the young adult ministries of a church of 2,500 people down in Franklin, and I had a residency for them, so it was like a 1-year residency. And to make income, I had to drive for Lyft or Uber. Yeah. And that's what I did part-time. And that ended up turning into a full-time situation with Lyft and Uber, because like the money at the beginning, when the concept was just getting off the ground, it was good. I could work a weekend and walk away $3,000 or $4,000. That's what it used to be. And then I drove full-time for 4 years. Yeah. And I started doing tours and all this stuff. And at the end of it, the end of my Uber career. I just think it's funny how it blends. Oh, yeah. But I worked a 9-hour shift 4 days before Christmas, and I made $35. It was awful, and that's how saturated this market got. Yes. with ride sharing drivers and stuff. And I'm like, man, I need to go build my own thing. I pitched this concept of XPLR.NASH to a couple multi-billion-dollar companies. I pitched it to a couple VC guys. I said, man, the content is king. Like, AI is coming in and all these things. I didn't know that at the time, but like it's like content is so king. Yeah. And I pitched it to these companies, man, and these companies have deep pockets. And they said, you're stupid. Like literally one guy said, that idea is stupid. And I said, okay, I'm going to go build this thing. That was 8 years ago when I said I was going to start building this thing. We didn't come out for content until 6 years ago. So I've been at this for a while. Yeah. And we're getting into some really cool things. We're going to start having a showcase residency for different artists. Awesome. XPLR.NASH branded. We have another live event that I'm super excited for. Can't go into much details yet. That's coming probably starting in June or July. It's going to be a monthly event, and people are going to love it. And then we have another thing that I really want to get into, and we're calling it XPLR.NASH's Dinner and Debates. Ooh, and it's healthy. It's healthy debate over breaking bread. And I know there's a lot of political divide here, but we want to be a brand that's building culture and building community, and we want to do that extraordinarily well. Yeah. And so some of these live events, man, I'm so excited for. They're coming. Announcements will be on the platform soon. We have a lot.
I'm very excited about that, dude. Like that idea of debate while breaking bread, and not it being a debate, but overall just being a conversation and bringing people together that wouldn't otherwise be together. Like, and that's what I want. Such a powerful concept, and I think your background in the worship world of bringing people together, it all kind of like, it sounds like your journey like leads you right to this kind of point of wanting to unite people, and the community aspect of the church and what you experienced in Binghamton and in Scranton, and now doing that here in a thriving city, in a thriving state, you know? So
my approach is this. So I am a Christian, and I do say that openly, and I'm not ashamed of that at all.
You shouldn't be.
And Jesus welcomes me to his table. I grew up in a dirt poor situation in a trailer park. I'm very grateful for where I came from, but I saw a lot of things. I saw a lot of domestic abuse. I saw a lot of I've seen a lot of things. Yeah. Most people have seen a lot of things, but like I know where I've been positioned and situated in my life where I should not be sitting at this table. Yeah. If I didn't start following Jesus when I did, around 16, I would either be in prison or I would be dead right now. That's just the path of these small towns in New York where you have nothing to do. I have a lot of friends in high school. I graduated with like 120 people. I've had like 6 or 7 friends from high school that have overdosed and died on meth or fentanyl or
same. Even in like suburban outside the city.
Yeah, and so like you're either panhandling drugs, you're doing something, because these small towns don't have benefits. Tennessee small towns are different, man. Some of these small towns are thriving.
Yes,
and it's wonderful to see. But Jesus, he welcomes me to his table, and he gives me the seat of honor, even though he's the one who deserves the honor. And he says, hey, I see you. I've seen your struggle. I've seen your sin. Guess what? It's washed away.
Yeah.
And I love you where you are. But Jesus doesn't leave you there. He says, I want the best for you. And guess what? I am the best for you.
Yeah.
And he welcomes me here, man. And I want to welcome people well. I want to love them. And I know that's a weird term, like, oh, I'm loving on people. But like, I want to love them where they are, but I also want to challenge them to be better.
Yeah, bring out the best in people.
To be a better human.
Yes.
And so the entire company, the entire brand, like, we are probably one of the only creators that actually has an LLC in this city.
Yeah.
And we do. Like, I employ 5 to 6 people.
Yeah.
And so like I'm building something, but it's not for me. Like, yes, I love what I do. I love going to these restaurants. I love doing these things. But I want to build community. I want to build culture. And the only way to do that is through a brand.
Yeah, to make it bigger than yourself.
Yes.
That's something that we're with Raised Rowdy as well. You know, like an LLC where it's bigger than myself and bigger than Nick.
Yeah. You
know, like you want it to be something that the community recognizes and it be this big encompassing kind of umbrella.
And it's the I love the opportunity when I get stopped, because just today.
Oh, I'm sure it happens all the time.
I've been stopped just 31 times since 6 o'clock this morning. But I love it because I always get to ask, hey, how can I bring you value? That's something that most people don't ask because they don't care.
Yeah.
And I come from a place of compassion. And I'm not trying to be conceited in that, but like I know I spent 5 minutes talking to a guy who cleans up downtown Nashville. His name's Jonathan. Jonathan, if you're watching this, brilliant conversation. I loved what we talked about. But he came up to me, he approached me, and I said, man, I'm gonna spend 5 minutes with you. I may not have the capacity on the back end to do things, but that's why I'm bringing in a director of hospitality.
Yeah.
Because I do have a wife, I do have a son. I can't give people everything.
Yeah.
But my team will connect you with the right people. And we are going to be a brand that connects. And we're going to be a brand that is the authority in this space. And I think we are.
Yeah.
Already.
I would agree with that.
But where I'm going is I want to be the authority of Nashville nationally and internationally.
Yeah.
So that when these folks from Australia and from Sydney and from Melbourne are just like, hey, I'm coming to Nashville, XPLR.NASH is the authority.
Yeah.
I'm already looking at their content. And one of the best moments I've ever experienced as a content creator is I was working in a shop in downtown Nashville. It was called Screen Threads. And I had to do this little part-time thing to make ends meet because we all have to do it.
Yes, absolutely.
I had the YouTube channel going for 2 years. This guy walked in from, I think he's from Sydney, Australia, and he said, Stuart! And he watched 7 of our YouTube videos.
Wow.
And we inspired his entire trip.
Wow.
For Nashville. And I'm like, okay, so I guess we're doing things right. And that was one of my favorite moments of doing this. And then another one is I was standing at Cletus. And I was about to get a burger, just eat lunch and head out. 2 guys from the UK, they're from London. They turned around and they said, you're XPLR.NASH, right? And I'm like, I am. And then I sat down and had lunch with them for 2 hours.
Yeah, I love Cletus, by the way.
Yeah, it's great.
Incredible spot.
It's great.
Great burger.
I wish the parking was better.
Me too.
Fix that.
Me too. That's my thing with some of the.
But Cletus is open in Bellevue location. I don't know.
Really?
The Nashville Post posted that. I've known about that for a little while, but they're opening a nice Bellevue location that has parking.
Yes.
Yeah.
The parking situation. And Nashville, of course, like every city does have like kind of its issues. Like when I first moved to town, I did security at Dierks Bentley's Whiskey Row for my first year in town before I started going out on the road. And that was like the homeless thing and the downtown and some of the struggles that you have. And you see it in New York, you see it in Chicago, you see it in pretty much every city. But what do you think the status is of that and like Nashville, like cleaning that stuff kind of up, as somebody who's in the know and involved a lot within the city, like showing the culture of it, because it is a thing.
It's a thing. Right now, there's about, the estimates that the city have are about 5,000 homeless individuals. My opinion on this is different than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the homeless individuals I have interacted with, I understand they have a struggle.
Yeah.
They, most of them had a struggle and then did not succeed at relationships. But a lot of them I interacted with a couple this morning near the Music City Center. They literally choose this lifestyle. And that's on them. And so I think the city has done a good job of maintaining that. I think the nonprofits here, Nashville has some of the most nonprofits in the world. Yes. In Tennessee, there's over 11,000 nonprofits.
Wow.
I think there's even more than that. But the nonprofit sector has done really well. The city has done well. There was a homeless camp right over here in Hermitage.
Oh yeah, right next to the Rusty Nail, where we do events.
Right, Rusty Nail, right near that Kroger. At times it was sketchy.
Oh yeah,
it was.
Yes,
my wife and I were there, and I'm like, okay, I'm about to have to throw down, because if somebody's going to harm my wife, I'm throwing down.
Yeah, you have to protect her.
It's as simple as that. And I said, hey, go get in the car. I'll take care of this. But like, there's just certain situations around town. You're just like, okay. And this is where I'm different on a lot of people. And I've had this conversation like 9 times over the last 3 weeks. I had this yesterday, literally, with my barber. A lot of people blame mental illness, but we as a society, we don't talk about this, but a lot of these individuals are demon possessed. And yes, demon possession will change your mental stability.
Yeah.
And it's not talked about much.
Why do you think that is?
Because we don't believe in idol worship, even though we do. We worship baseball players. Yeah. We worship football. Like we are deeply involved as a society in idol worship. And when that comes, the demons come to play. And so that's my mindset on it. Now, the question that may be proposed to your audience is, okay, well, what's the solution? I don't have a solution.
Yeah.
I want to love people well and say, hey, I believe, I see you. I'm also not going to enable you. I'm not going to give you cash to go buy those drugs. I'm not going to give you cash to buy that whiskey. I'll buy you a meal. I'll give you resources. But if you're not willing to actually put in the work, because the Bible says you're going to reap what you sow. If you're not willing to put in the work to change, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's not on me. And so I can give you resources. It's the same thing. I could bring the horse to the water.
Yeah.
But I can't make it drink.
No, you can't.
And so that's my mindset on homelessness. I do believe downtown Nashville is doing really well. And you probably saw interesting things as a security guard.
Oh, yeah.
And you probably saw bum fights and all. You saw a lot.
Yeah.
Especially if you're there every Friday and Saturday night.
Yes.
Downtown Broadway is, on a Friday, Saturday night, it's awful.
Yeah.
I love it because it's great from an economic standpoint.
Yeah.
But, like, it's still terrible.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is like, you can try helping these individuals. If they don't want help, well, how much can you do?
Yeah.
How much can you give of yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a very, that's honestly, I agree with you in a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like pretty much all of that. Like it is very much, it takes two people. It takes that person's willingness to do it. It's like me with my sobriety. Like I got sober 7 years ago,
Dude,
and
congratulations,
that was a
man.
thank you. And it was
That's hard,
and
man.
it was me needing to hit a point of
Was it alcohol related or was it
alcohol?
drugs?
Yeah, it was alcohol. So I had to quit drinking. Luckily, I quit drinking before I moved down here and got into working in the country music space. And it would have been very difficult to do that down here, and
because it's so drinking friendly.
Yeah, it is, and honestly, like you said, it's great for the economy. It's like you said, a drinking town with a music problem. Like it's the identity, and it's what brings the tourism in with the bachelorette parties. The fact that the Opryland is booked out for conventions for a long ways. Like we are the destination. Yep, and there's
but that's every convention center in America. But yeah,
is it really?
Yeah, most so on the convention hospitality side. They actually had a meeting next week with some of the biggest event planners in the country that planned conferences. They're securing dates for 2029.
Oh, wow.
Right now. Because logistically, if you're moving 1,000 people as a company, you need a space to accommodate 1,000 people. And you need to be renting out these spaces. So what was fascinating about with COVID, companies that paid in 2017, 2018, for spaces during 2020 and 2021. Some of them got their refunds. This is why you always get insurance on your events. But like some of those people are now coming back and saying like, hey, I was supposed to be here in 2021 with 1,000 people. Can you accommodate me now in 2025? Because like we still want to be here. Yeah. It's just and so from an occupancy standpoint, Nashville, I believe the last 2 years, I don't know how much you know about this, we've been at 97% occupancy for hotels.
Holy cow.
And there's even hotels that oversell. That happens all the time, just like airlines. They oversell their rooms, and then they have to go send these people to other hotels, and hopefully they have a sister property that can take care of that. But we're still thriving in that sense. We're the third highest ranked conference city in the United States. Wow. It's like us, I think Miami, and then Las Vegas, Miami, us, I believe right now.
That's crazy.
And so you just have to. What's interesting about that, but I don't know if you've ever been into an event where you're planning for 1,000 people, a 5-day event or a 3-day event. Man, you need hotels. You need food. You need transportation. There's so much to accommodate for these individuals. And then you have these buyouts, like these bar buyouts and stuff. And like you have all these really fascinating things. And I've been a part of all of that. Yeah. Where like I'll be with some clients and they're like, I'm buying out Redneck Riviera for the full night, all 4 floors for 14 people. And they've done it. And so, but that's a fascinating topic. When people have that much wealth to be able to do like these buyouts for places. Yeah.
Yeah. And you see it now when you have big events in town too. And the fact that I think the new football stadium is going to bring in a ton of stuff, obviously, with it being enclosed. I remember working downtown during the NFL draft.
That was insane, man. That was an insane time. 623,000 individuals came to this city.
Yes.
Trusted this city to provide them a good time. And that draft has been the case study for other drafts around the country, and they still have not lived up to the caliber of that draft.
No, they haven't. And that all the different like big events that come in here, like the things that happen at Bridgestone, the big things that are music related, obviously, like CMA Fest and things like that. And it's cool to be a part of a city that is doing that. Because like growing up in New York's kind of been New York for a really long time. Yep. It's cool to get to watch a city just boom.
And we thrive.
Yeah.
We are, Aaron and I used to say on our podcast, we are Event City. This is before the pandemic. And I think we're right there again. Live events are doing really, really well from an economic standpoint right now. I think our live events are going to be very unique.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm super excited.
I'm excited
for
to check
them.
those out, dude.
Yeah, there's some really cool things that we're going to be doing, and some other really cool things on top of the really cool things that we're doing.
Yeah, all cool things. Yeah.
But that's where the mindset is in this city. Is how can you have live events ultimately to build community? Not a lot of people are thinking about that, like how to build community.
Yeah.
And that's where my mindset is. I want to build community, and I want to be the authority.
Yeah.
And so I have both of those.
Yes.
And there's a lot of really cool things that we're working on. But I don't want to keep talking about myself because I can do that all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are So where's like your favorite like section of town to kind of hang out in? You're not a lower Broadway guy on the weekend. You're not a Broadway boy, not a Broadway man.
Dude, I go to Broadway all the time.
You're saying like a Friday, Saturday night?
No, absolutely not.
Well, I'm saying that's what I mean.
I spend when I go to Broadway, it's like 10 a.m. I get to go in, hang out with the bartenders, and hang out, catch out some music, and I'm out by like 4 p.m.
Yes, you're a local day shift guy. Yeah.
I'm like literally, I was in Broadway this morning as a recording of this podcast, and I talked to 12 people with the downtown partnership. I talked to 2 Tennessee Highway Patrol officers. I talked to a couple Metro guys, and so like I'm just doing my rounds, checking in and saying hi. And
where's a spot where's like a section of town that you like going to? Like
I love my house.
Well, you love your house. Well, duh. Yeah. Duh. You love being with the wife and the little one and all of that. But like you like the Gulch, like the Nations, like East, like there's all because I feel like you get a flavor of everything with all the different sections we have.
And I think we try covering them really well. We have
you guys do cover them.
We have some really cool things where we're going to cover these things more in depth, and we've been working on this for 5 years. And that's coming to market probably next 6 to 8 months.
Heck yeah.
I love Donaldson Hermitage. I love Wedgwood, Houston. East Nashville, parts of it has my heart. Like Inglewood, I really enjoy Inglewood. Madison is a interesting vibe right now. I think there's going to be a lot happening there.
I agree.
But I'm also excited for what's happening on Dickerson Pike.
Yeah.
The Nations, I'll go throw down the Nations all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm everywhere every day. Like there's a day this last week I was I was in Dixon, Franklin, Hendersonville, Lebanon, downtown, Lebanon,
that's
Mount Juliet,
insane.
Hendersonville. Where else did I go? Bellevue. I go everywhere, and I get to explore full time, and I get paid for it,
and to tell the stories
and I
of
get
those
to tell
areas.
the story.
Which you have in your Instagram bio. You're a storyteller. Like that is your biggest thing. And like, has there been a favorite story that you've gotten to tell about Middle Tennessee? Like one that stands out for you.
There's a lot, man. There's so many stories to tell. Like you could talk about the Revolutionary Grants, if they served in the Revolutionary War, and how the government of North Carolina gave these soldiers that served in the North Carolina Army, how they gave these grants to come settle this area. Because at one point this was North Carolina territory.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And North Carolina owned all of this. And there was the state of Franklin that tried starting in East Tennessee, and North Carolina shut it down, but they didn't want to occupy this land. And it just, there's a lot there. The Civil War is extraordinarily fascinating in this area.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Revolutionary War back home in the Northeast, because like we had a lot of that.
But Nashville was the first Confederate city to fall to the Union/Federal Army, and there's a lot of history there. And there's a story of the Battle of Franklin, and where there's 2 stories of the Battle of Franklin. If you have not been to the Carter House and Carton House, you need to go. But at the Carter House, there was a guy named Fountain Branch Carter. He had 3 sons, or 4 sons. Most of them served for the Confederate, and 3 of them were imprisoned, and one of them was with the Army of Tennessee. And he grew up in this home in Franklin, and he served for the Army of Tennessee for 3 years, was a veteran combat guy. For the Confederates, he was killed. He was shot 9 times, 150 yards away from his house. His father, Fountain Branch Carter, picked up his son that was shot 9 times, talked to him for a little bit, and he died in his father's arms in the same room he was born in.
Whoa.
That's a story.
Yeah. That's a movie.
That's a movie, yeah. They're not going to make it because it's talking about the Confederacy, but that's a story. But guess what? There's another story there, too. There's a lot of stories. 10,000 men and boys went missing or killed in action in that battle. There's stories of these Confederate boys as young as 12, 13 years old, eating their hides of their boots to survive.
Whoa.
But there's also this story. The person over the Federal Army was a guy named John Schofield. John B. Schofield, or John Schofield, not B. Schofield. And then over the Confederacy was John B. Hood. Both of those boys were West Point graduates, At one time, they were roommates. They graduated in the same class at West Point, served for the different sides of the Army, of the conflict. That's a story. There's so many of those stories in Middle Tennessee. It's hard to tell all of them. Hopefully my platform can. We have some really cool historical things coming up.
I'm very excited because I love history, dude. That's really cool.
But man, there's this story, and Fort Negley. It's the largest inland concrete Civil War fort built during the Civil War in the United States, and it's in downtown Nashville. It's protected land. It can't go anywhere. And it's 4 miles from the downtown core. Like, it's best skyline views. It's an amazing park. It's my favorite park in Nashville. That's Metro owned. And the Federal Army, Union Army, however you call them, they at one point used enslaved labor. The people that were against this used this to build some of that fort. Yes, there was free blacks as well, but like, there's stories of struggles. There's stories of there was a story in 1885, I think 1886, down Church Street. The old city prison used to be there, and they used to have public lynchings. And 15,000 people showed up to watch this thing on Church Street in like 1885, 1886. Wow. Over in West Nashville, there was the most devastating train accident in the United States. I think 118 people or 120 people died because two trains basically collided. The story of DuPont up in Hendersonville. Yeah. Man, there's so many stories. Yeah.
So how do you balance, like, as far as the content goes, of like the historical stuff like that? Because that can be its own channel within itself. And then showcasing the modern of what's here, and then the stories that have happened over the last decade of Nashville.
So I'll show you off scene our content plan and strategy. I have 10,000 ideas. I have 10,000 videos I want to produce.
Wow.
My goal, and this is where I'm kind of mad in my mind, is I want to release 100 pieces of content a day.
Wow.
The only way I can do that, the only way you can build an empire, is with an army.
Yeah.
That's it. Gary Vee can do that because he has an army behind him.
Yes.
I want to be Gary Vee in this niche market of Nashville, ultimately with the long-term goal of bringing this internationally.
Yeah.
But Nashville's always going to be my baby in that sense. But like I want, and you can easily do that. 100 pieces of content is not that out of reach.
Oh, when you're hustling like you guys are?
And 15 stories a day, a reel, a short, a TikTok, a website post, a notification on the app. All of these things you can do.
Yeah.
100 pieces of content a day is easy. Hopefully one day I can do it in my sleep. Because we're in an age of automation, man.
Oh, dude, yeah. The robots can do a lot.
Automate it.
Yes.
So the balance that you asked about, it's hard because like this week, like we haven't released much food stuff. We've released a lot of stuff on adventure because it's that time of the year.
Yes.
So what we do is we look at a calendar and we say, okay, this is the upcoming year. This is what needs to be focused on here. This is what's happening culturally as a society at this time. Like, we're not during election season. Guess what? I'm going to release some killer restaurant videos. I'm going to release some adventure videos just to go allow people to ease their minds.
Yes, people need that.
It's so stressful around that time.
Yes,
and they do need that.
Yes.
And so, like, we look at that, like, how is this piece of content going to bring our individual audience members value?
Yeah.
All of our content's different. We cover 15 categories under our brand. We cover transportation, we cover food, we cover adventure, we cover day trips. We do these things. We talk about infrastructure, we talk about development, we talk about history. There's a lot of things I'm passionate about. And that's how I explore. And so basically our content strategy, and this may be insightful for some people, is it's a lot of things. Like, hey, this is our upcoming 30 videos. Let's schedule them. Do food videos do really well on Thursdays? Typically. Yesterday's video is not doing that well. It's only at 30,000 views. We've released food videos on Thursdays. By Saturday, they're at 300,000 views. Typically, Thursdays do really well. Historically, Tuesdays do really well for history videos. But we can't pigeonhole ourselves with this certain strategy and say, okay, we need to come out with this. I also think some of our videos do really well because of how relevant it is to what's happening in Nashville, how many shares it's getting. So like when we release our transportation video the next couple days on the proposed maps that Freddie's doing, it has potential to get 1 million views. Yeah. It really does.
And it's such a hot topic.
And it has a lot of potential to say, hey, your taxes may be going up.
Yeah.
And people are going to criticize the crap out of that in the comments because I want that conflict.
Yes.
In the comments. Because in the conflict is where you're growing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's insightful.
No, it is. I think it's very insightful. Talk about transportation. You think we're ever going to have, like, the train system's ever going to really expand? Like, we're going to have...
So there's a lot of issues before this. I have talked about transit in the city for 6 years. Megan Barry's plan that came out 2017, I was fully against because I did not want to spend $10 billion.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
And 60% of Nashville was against that as well.
Yeah.
Freddie's... I've looked at his plans very closely. I've been reading a lot. Sometimes it takes us a little bit to create content around these things, even though like this has been out for like 2 weeks, because I'm structuring, I'm storyboarding, I'm figuring out the value proposition to my audience.
Yeah.
Dude, like I'll show you behind the scenes, like how we write out these scripts and all these things. Like we're a content machine already, and where we're going to go is going to be insane. But the transit conversation is very interesting because CSX owns all the train lines. There's one train line going into downtown Nashville that's owned by another company. They have exclusive rights on commercial freight because commercial freight makes companies money.
Yes.
Passenger does not.
No.
We have the Nashville Star, which is okay. It's not the best. Freddie's plan is proposing more rapid bus routes. My issue with this transportation proposal is it's outdated technology. Japan just recently released their new bullet train, like speed of their new bullet train. I think it goes 1 mile per 2 seconds. That's insane.
Yeah.
1 mile per 2 seconds or something. It's insane. It's like 750 miles. It's insane. Maybe it's 6 seconds. It's fast.
Yeah.
We're proposing. As a city, we need it. We desperately need it.
For sure.
As a region, we need it. We need transportation to connect regionally. I need to be able to get out to Gallatin taking public transportation. I should be able to take public transportation down to Murfreesboro. I should be able to take public transportation out to Franklin. Dixon is going to be a whole different conversation.
Yes.
But first off, the state and the city is going to have to buy a lot of right-of-ways. That's expensive. That's $100 billion thing. Easily. The buses are a good idea, but get rid of street parking in downtown Nashville. There shouldn't be street parking on West End. That should be a dedicated bus lane, which they're planning on doing. Same thing with Dickerson and Murfreesboro. But the biggest thing is we're proposing this outdated technology. Buses are good. They move people. But Dubai is using freaking drones and moving people. And we're not thinking at that level. We build this outdated technology. It's good for the immediate, but 15 years from now, we're going to be like, here we go again. Here's another proposal. And it's going to take 10 years to build all this all out.
Yeah.
So you might as well, and this is where I believe in the private side of things. The private side of things has an opportunity. There's a train line in Florida called Brightline. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
Brightline is a passenger train that connects, I think it's Fort Lauderdale and Miami. And they're using these tracks. They're connecting. They're going to be putting bullet trains into Florida.
Whoa.
It's all private. We have and now they're, so Amtrak used to be here in Tennessee.
Oh, really? I didn't know Amtrak was down here.
Amtrak is in Memphis. Amtrak used to be in Nashville until about 1984, something around then. They backed away, and now they're re-talking about having Amtrak. Oh, we're going to connect Chattanooga and Atlanta. Okay. So I'm still going to take a train to Atlanta. It's still going to take me 3.5 hours by train when I could drive to Atlanta in 4 hours. Yeah, I'm going to be sitting in traffic for a while, but I'm going to be sitting in traffic for a long time in Chattanooga. I'm going to be sitting in traffic in a long time in Nashville.
In my own car.
I get to go where I want.
Yeah.
I'm not dedicated to these train lines. And so you're proposing these things like, oh, we're going to get Amtrak. Okay, bring the bullet trains. And I lived in Europe for a long time, and they have bullets, and I would pay the price to go from northern Italy to southern Italy in 3 or 4 hours instead of doing a 9-10 hour thing or longer. I would pay that extra. The state has proposed choice lanes, and now we're just getting into massive topics that cost billions upon billions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's something that like we can't resolve over a 10-minute podcast episode. And now you're getting into tax code and tax law and all this stuff
factored in.
And the state right now is doing a survey on choice lanes. Your first choice lane is going to be from Murfreesboro to Nashville on I-24. And they're doing a survey, and then they're like, okay, this is going to take us 7 years to build or 10 years to build. And I'm like, first off, you have a lot of right-of-ways to get between Murfreesboro and Nashville. That's a lot of right-of-ways. They're using private contractors to build this thing, and then they're going to outsource it to private contractors for maintenance. That's good, but you're still 10 years in the making before we even have choice lanes.
Yeah.
And so how, like, yes, there's solutions on the table, but we keep using these data technologies that ultimately are not going to benefit Nashvillians and Tennesseans long term.
Yeah, and that's what you need is a long term solution because the way the city's
and
growing.
guess what? There's solutions. Uber and Lyft. I understand people will be like, well, I can't afford that. There is other solutions. We have data technology. We need it. And if we don't do something now, 20 years from now, we're effed.
Yeah.
We're worse than Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta did not grow this fast.
No city's really grown.
No.
I don't know what another case study would be to look at.
It's Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is 5 years ahead of us. But it just came out last week. Austin built so many apartments, they're now giving away rent for free. For like 6 months. Yeah, I don't know the exact
because I know there's
specifics.
Apartments here doing a few.
They're doing like 2 or 3, but like so right now in the apartment world, there's 15,000 apartments available in Nashville. And the city government's like, oh, well, we need affordable housing. Well, first off, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Because there's inventory available. Now it's some of these landlords, and they're not going to lower their prices because they had so many freaking loans to take out to build these buildings. And now they're just sitting half empty. I've been in 3 apartment complexes in the last week. They've only been open for about a year. All 3 of these places are at 80% occupancy. They're doing well because they have a brand behind them.
Yes.
And now you, as an apartment complex, solidify something to get people into your door.
Yeah.
Have amenities to get people in your door.
Yeah.
I
know we could go. We could go and go and go.
Yeah, I could talk about a lot of things.
Hey, saying, if you ran for an office, I don't know if you've thought about that or talked.
You are
about
the second podcast I've been on this week that said they've asked if I'm running for mayor. Right now,
whether it's mayor, or just even like a thing underneath that, just building up because you got ideas and you're smart as hell, dude. Smart as heck.
Thanks.
Seriously,
I read a lot.
Yeah, I can tell.
I understand the psyche really well. Right now, the Lord Jesus is not telling me to be running for politics.
Yeah.
In the last 2 weeks, it's come up 13 times. This is the second podcast in the last week I've been on that said I should run for politics. Right now, that's not the case.
Yeah.
That may change in the future. If that does change in the future, I will become mayor, and I can do that very easily.
Yeah.
And I can also probably become governor pretty easily. Personally, where I stand, I don't want that responsibility, man.
No, it is a lot.
It's stressful. It's divisive. I want to build strong community within our brand, and I want people to feel seen, and I want people to feel heard.
Yeah.
And I can't do that at the capacity of government.
No, I don't think government, as it sits right now, can do that.
And they're not supposed to.
No, because that's not government's job.
Because government The government's job is protection of its people, which our government is failing. A federal government is failing.
Yeah.
The state Tennessee government's doing extraordinarily well.
Yeah.
Protection of its people and infrastructure. Government's not supposed to have its hand on education.
No.
That's not in the Constitution. And government's not supposed to have all these bureaucrats either.
No.
And so I, as a private vendor, I can do a better job building culture and changing society.
Yeah.
Through my brand.
Yeah.
Because I have a potential director of hospitality. I have a team that wants people to thrive.
You have your own cabinet. That's
I have
the
my
team.
own. I have my team. Yeah, I have my team, and it's. I think I could just do more as a private entity, and not get paid off by these lobbyists. Which, dude, I've had lobbyists approach me this last year.
I'm sure.
And they're like, "Hey, we'll put a bunch of money behind you," and I'm like, "Man, I'm good. I'll go build my own thing."
Yeah.
I believe in legacy building.
Yeah.
And I want to build a legacy. Not just for myself, man. I want to build a legacy for this brand and for this idea.
Yeah.
Because our motto statement is experience Nashville differently.
Yeah.
And people, because of the content that they take in from us, they get to experience it differently every day.
Yeah.
A lot of creators in town are like, oh, let's go to this restaurant, showcase this. Oh, we're going to do day trips because XPLR.NASH did it. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Because I have a team of people. We're good at what we do, and we're going to build something that this city has never seen.
Yeah, and so much of it is the relationships that you've built, and that's something we like with Raised Rowdy as well within the music community. You know,
the morning of recording of this day, I walked out of the Omni Hotel with 2 or 3 politicians. They know who I am. I walked out with these politicians, and we talked about life.
Yeah,
I get that opportunity every single day.
Yeah,
like I know these politicians really well.
Yeah,
but I get to be around them, and hopefully that gets to influence policy change. I don't want to be in the game of creating policy.
No,
I just want to be in the game of I want to build a legacy. I want to build a brand that also brings meaning to people, and it is relationships.
Yeah,
relationships are what make or break you.
Absolutely.
And I love the opportunity of the relationships I get to be involved with.
Yeah, both here in Nashville, abroad, like all over the place. Like your story. How old are you?
34.
You're 30. Yeah, dude, you've gotten to live international. You come from small town Northeast and an upbringing that led you to work hard and gave you this work ethic and the family values and all of that, man. And it's led you to where you are now. I've got a question about like a place to go. So I'm in a relationship. I have a great, amazing girlfriend, and she likes to eat out and the finer things in life. She frequents places like Urban Grub, The Optimist, things like that. Okay. A date night, a good date night. She lives up in Cross Plains, so she's a Robertson County girl.
Yep.
But where's a good place do you think to go for a date
night? Have you been to the Chef and I?
I have not been to the Chef and I think I've heard of it.
So the Chef and I is one of my favorite restaurants in town. That's where I always take my wife for a date. They do a really cool experience. I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday nights, where the chef curates an entire menu.
Oh wow!
So you don't get to choose what you're eating. They make the menu. So like the last time I went, it was South African themed, and this guy is the team there. Chef Jake. He got a job with Disney, so he's the executive chef for Disney Cruise Lines.
Oh wow!
Like this is the type of caliber of people that they're bringing, where he gets a job offer from Disney. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
There's 3 chefs in Disney that make decisions, and he's like one of those chefs.
And he's out of Nashville.
He was. He recently moved. They just hired a chef, Chef Anthony, I believe is his name. But they do a chef tasting menu. They have a 5-course or a 7-course meal. It's expensive. Like you're looking at I think the 5-course is $85. The 7-course is like $114. Plus you can do a wine pairing for all 7 courses. That's a $40 add-on. Like it's fantastic. The food is remarkable. But they do the chef. I think it's called the chef tasting experience, where they get to choose the meal. And they will accommodate to allergies. That's the really nice thing. Like I have a shellfish allergy.
Yeah.
So they're able to accommodate for me. But dude, they made this bisque. It was like this lobster bisque. I'm gonna have the lobster.
Ooh.
It was like life changing, man. It was like this South African bisque, and I'm like, this is so freaking good. I love taking my wife there. It's a great date spot. But if you're wanting a free activity, man, Tennessee state parks are remarkable. You can go hike for free. We're one of the only states that have free state parks.
Wow.
And if you want like a good sandwich, just like on one of these date days, Country View Market out in Charlotte, Tennessee.
Okay.
We did a video.
I've been wanting to go to Charlotte, Tennessee, because my girlfriend's daughter, her name is Charlotte, so
Okay.
she's been wanting to go
So,
to Erin, Tennessee, because her name's Erin and her daughter's name is Charlotte. So she's been wanting to go to these places. So we've been trying to plan.
Do you know
a
what?
trip to Charlotte, Tennessee.
Do you know why Charlotte's called Charlotte, Tennessee?
I'm guessing it has to do with North Carolina history.
Nope.
No.
So the wife of James Robertson was named Charlotte Robertson. She was one of the founding women of Nashville, and it's named after her. So Charlotte Pike is named after her. Charlotte, Tennessee is named after her. And she had, it was either 2 or 3 sons that were scalped by the different tribes here in town.
Oh, wow.
She was so angry one day, she went out, I think this is what it is. She killed 18 men or 25 men. This is like 1780. She went out and killed men with muskets. She was a badass woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kind of woman that gets stuff named after her.
Oh yeah, like Charlotte, Tennessee,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Charlotte Pike.
Yes, yeah.
So in Charlotte, Tennessee, it's right next to Dixon. Montgomery State Bell State Park is out that way. Narrows of Harpeth is out that way. There's this Amish store called Country View Market. We have a video coming out next week.
Awesome. I'll be on looking for
And
that.
it's a made-to-order sandwich, $5.99. You get to customize your sandwich. They have 4 different options for bread. They have like 15 or 20 different options for meat, 15 to 20 options for cheese, and then you can customize all of your condiments and like your pickles and lettuce and all that stuff. And it is one of the best sandwiches for $6.
I love a
that
good
you can
sandwich.
get in,
Yeah.
in Tennessee. But then every time I go, so they have this wall when you walk in. Your girlfriend's daughter is gonna love this. It's just candy.
Oh.
Homemade candy.
Okay.
Like my wife and I got us a big it's like a little plastic container of like these turtle, like the peanut turtle things.
Oh yeah,
brother, they're insane. And then I always get like the root beer candies. Get that, and then also they do these homemade dips. So they have a pimento cheese dip, a buffalo cheese dip. They have this vegetable dip with these homemade crackers. They have a veggie garden cracker.
Wow.
When I tell you, like, I'm like in heaven eating these things,
Yeah.
like it's like a small experience of heaven. Their food is remarkable, and I love shouting them out. The first video we ever did for Country View Market, 600,000 views.
Wow.
This next video I'm hoping gets over 1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
Where's your go-to pizza spot in town?
that's hard.
Because it's like, is it to
That's
me? To me, is it hard because there's a lot of good places, or hard because of where you
Good places?
that's what I was saying. Or is it hard because of where you come from, being a Northeast guy like myself, where we're spoiled in Italian culture?
I grew up in so I grew outside of Binghamton, the town I grew up in. I don't reveal that just so people don't be like, I can type that in and steal your data.
Yeah. Yes.
The small town I grew up in had 70 pizza restaurants for a population of like 15,000 people.
Yeah.
70.
Yeah.
70.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Oh,
that's
yeah.
a massive
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
We had more ice cream stands. So Nashville, Bobby's Dairy Dip, shout them out. They're a great ice cream
Yes.
stand, 55 or 56 years old, maybe even older than that. Nashville at one point sucked with ice cream.
Really?
Yeah, it was terrible, man. Hattie Jane's is killing it. Fries Cream. Have you had Fries Cream over
I
on
have
12
not had
South?
Fries
It's
Cream yet.
French fries and ice cream.
Oh,
They're opening one. They're opening one in Donaldson very soon.
Yes, they're bringing one to this side of town. Let's go.
Hattie Jane's is in Donaldson. Bobby's is like the OG.
Yeah.
But like my small town had more ice cream parlors than Nashville did at one point.
Wow.
Also, my small town had more sidewalks than Nashville does. Even though like the square mileage doesn't make sense. At one point, 2019, Nashville had 19% of coverage of sidewalks in Nashville.
That's it?
That's it. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Freddie has proposed 86 miles of new sidewalk. I am all for that because we should have sidewalks.
You need them.
118 pedestrians or something were killed last year. Some of that was due to lack of sidewalks.
Yeah.
Some of that was due to the illegal jaywalking that happens in our city all the time. I have participated.
Guilty.
Yes, I have. I did it today, and I was not stopped. So,
oh yeah,
because in New York City, you're stopped if you jaywalk, man. You're getting like a $200 fine.
Oh yeah, you're a rebel.
Yeah. But pizza is an interesting category. Have you heard of Tutto de Gio?
I have not been there yet.
It's in Hermitage. They're from Sicily. That's good. That video that we did for them had like 1.6 million views. Radically changed their business. And my favorite pizza place in Nashville before they closed was Joey's House of Pizza.
Yes. I'm with you on the Joey's train, dude.
They're from Brooklyn. My favorite experience is I had a roommate at one point. He was from East Tennessee, so he was not really well spoken, and not because he's from East Tennessee. He just wasn't. He was a very introvert, and Joey. This was back in the heyday. This was like 2014. Joey's like, get the F out of my restaurant if you don't know what you want, because like there was like 35 people behind him.
Yeah,
and my roommate's like, it was one of the best moments I've ever experienced in Nashville. And but Joey's, I have some good news. We are the platform making the announcement they're reopening.
Yes,
but it's going to be a little bit of a drive.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll get that off the camera.
No,
or do you say no?
Yeah, keep it. They know. People know.
Well, I don't know where.
Murfreesboro.
Okay, I mean, I would drive to Murfreesboro for Joey's.
I would drive to Murfreesboro.
Similar hours too, because that was always the thing with them.
It's going to be a full service restaurant.
Oh wow, let's go! Give me a Joey's chicken parm.
Yeah.
Give me some Joey's Benny vodka.
The Gladiator.
Yes.
Have you ever done that?
Oh yeah.
We're going to do the Gladiator challenge again. I had another roommate. He tried eating 2 pieces of Gladiator and he tapped out. I'm like, I want to make that a challenge. Like, I want to make that a thing because that pizza was insane.
Yeah, I'd be down to do that.
I don't know if I was supposed to reveal that, but Joey's, I'm excited. Stephanie, you're doing an incredible job. The Joey's Manny's House of Pizza Man down in the arcade. They're brothers. Great slices of pizza. The only difference was the oregano. Oh my gosh, I can't say the word. Oregano. Oh my god, I can't say it.
Oregano?
Yeah, there we are. Yeah.
Tongue twister. Do you like Dicey's?
I've never had it. I've had good things. I have not had it. My go-to pizza right now, honestly, man, is Domino's.
Domino's?
The convenience of it.
Yeah, dude. I ate a lot of Domino's in college because when I went to Rider University in Central New Jersey, and the Domino's there would be open till 3 or 4 in the morning every night. And it's like I'm up late working on something. I have a late night shift on the radio station. Like I'm gonna order some Domino's. I'm gonna get that stuffed cheesy bread. I'm gonna put some bacon in that thing. I'm gonna dip that stuff in the marinara.
So my best friend from back home, his family's been in pizza for a long time.
So you know the industry. Yes.
I've cooked my share of pies. I'm trying to convince him to open a place here.
Because we'll crush.
We charge $2 a slice. He would become a multimillionaire off of this market for pizza because his quality is so freaking phenomenal.
I feel like the same could be said about diners. If we had a diner.
Like a true diner.
Like a true diner. Like I want to open it up and I want 16 pages in the menu.
Exactly.
I want a Greek family.
Yes. So Athens. Have you been to Athens?
Athens.
The restaurant Athens.
No.
So they used to be over in Berry Hill. Now they're over in Bellevue. It's a Greek family that's diner vibes. It's expensive. It's more expensive. I miss the diner. So in college, I went to Clark Summit Diner every single Friday.
Where'd you go to college?
Clark Summit University.
Clarkson? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I went to Clark Summit Diner every single Friday for 2.5 years. By the time I left, I could walk in. We would walk in exactly at 9:00. Food would be on the table. And they got to the point where I would change it up every other week or every third week. I'll do a different thing. And it would be on the table. I tipped like 150%.
Yeah.
Every single time because like I was taken care of.
Yeah.
Something like that here, it would be hard to do because the cost is really high.
Yes.
But if we had like a good New York diner here, like have you ever been to any of the diners in Scranton?
I'm trying to remember if I have. I couldn't tell you one off the top of my head.
I can't remember the names of them right now. But the memories, man, it's like Denny's on crack.
Yeah.
But if we had those type of diners here, I think they would do really well.
Especially with the late night culture. Mm-hmm. It's just you'd have to watch it with the amount of chaos that happens.
Yeah.
You would have to have it staffed properly.
Hermitage Cafe was able to pull it off for a long time.
Hermitage Cafe was awesome.
They just opened a food truck.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, so it's like a breakfast themed food truck.
Cool.
They're primarily stationed near the Greyhound station in downtown Nashville.
Okay.
I think they're serving some of the same stuff. That restaurant's becoming Mr. J's Special. It's going to be a burger restaurant. Some really cool things coming there. But there is how Daddy's Dogs is in the nightlife. If my buddy brought pizza here. Oh, yeah. And if I get to the point, I may just hire somebody to be my director of operations and do this myself. Take his recipes, charge $2 or $3 a slice, because you're still making profit at that point. It would be what Daddy's Dogs has done for hot dogs, but in the pizza world.
Yeah, which would be amazing. Yeah. And then where do you go to get a good bagel around here?
H&S Bagels.
H&S?
Yeah. Hector, he makes an incredible product.
The bacon, egg, and cheese in there is very good.
Yeah. Creve Hall is good. They're not my favorite.
You've been out to the Jersey folks in Mount Juliet?
They're okay.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. It's too thick.
It's too salty for me.
Yeah.
And they do too much spread.
Yeah.
Sometimes. H&S is my go-to. I typically go to H&S and I get a dozen bagels every quarter, and then I freeze them because their product freezes really well.
Yeah.
And then I put them in the microwave for 30 seconds to get them soft, and then I toast them.
Yeah, that's what I do with mine back home.
And that's my go-to bagel shop in Nashville. But when I go to New York, man, I just bring bagels home.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I was spoiled in Rockland County. We had Rockland Bakery.
Oh, dude, I've had Rockland.
Yes,
it is incredible.
I grew up going there once or twice a week with my grandmother.
Okay,
and
that's a good story,
and going in there and being able to put on the plastic glove and pick out the hero roll and take the number at the deli, handing them that piece of bread, and then them making you that chicken cutlet with the fresh mutts.
But now you're sitting here, and that's a memory, man.
Yeah.
And that's, I want to create memories with our live events. I want memorable moments. And that's where I'm really excited. I know I keep harping back on it, but like we will, because I will create memorable moments.
Yeah. I'm excited to make memories over there and going to these events. Like you're getting me jacked up and excited.
Oh, dude,
I'm very excited.
I'm going to be on like cloud nine with these events. But like, it's those moments that you remember with your grandma. Like I have those same moments with my grandma. She's a pure-blood Italian woman, and just we would go to these bakeries, we would do these things, and like just incredible moments. But like, and that's where my passion for showing off food comes. Was I want to be able to help create memorable moments at the places we promote.
Yeah, dude, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
What was your cookie growing up at the bakery? I like the big black and white ones, and then I like the Italian those rainbow cookies.
I love the rainbow cookies.
The rainbow cookies to me.
So my small town had a restaurant called Sopranos.
Perfect.
This is before the TV show Sopranos. Yep. And it's still open today. If they look it up, they can find where I live. But that's on them. They did this chocolate cookie. It was like this big.
Yeah.
But on the inside of it was like a layer of a hazelnut. It wasn't Nutella, but it was like this hazelnut chocolate spread. On top of it was this white powdered sugar mix with so much like vanilla flavor, man. Like this cookie, I'll get them all the time, like every single day.
Yeah.
I would literally go and spend like $1.50 to get a cookie. And this happened a lot. That's why I'm the size I am. I ate a lot of pizza and I ate a lot of cookies.
Good food, yeah.
But that was always something I would always get. And I can't remember the name of that cookie. Like I'm going back up in a couple months, and I'm like literally just going to buy like 6 dozen of those
just
cookies.
Excited for the cookies.
And just put them in the bag, maybe dry freeze them, or I'll eat them that entire time I'm there.
Dude.
Yeah. But that's one of my favorites. The pizza, man, at this place too was they do this garlic broccoli pizza. It's the best.
I call those like the garbage slices where it's just combinations that you wouldn't expect. And I'm not talking just like buffalo chicken. I'm talking like slices. Different
Have you been to
things
Pinky Ring Pizza?
I haven't been.
Oh, yeah, you gotta go. It's a mess. So they do the unique flavors. So they have I would say they're one of my favorites.
Okay.
They have a hot pickle pizza.
Ooh.
And so it's like their take on Nashville hot chicken, but with pickles.
The pizza pub places do a good job of that too.
They do. But this place, Sopranos, man, like they have this garlic. Every time my parents come down, I'm like, hey, bring 7 or 8 garlic pizzas. Like I'm gonna eat them all the time. But they do this garlic broccoli pizza, and they've been doing this thing for like 25 years. Dude, it's like I grew up, like I would skip high school or skip school and just go get pizza all the time. Even in like 9th grade. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm going home for lunch. I don't want to be here at the cafeteria. I'm going to go eat some garlic broccoli pizza.
Yeah, you're going to get the good stuff.
And there's not that good of pizza places here. Pinky Ring's probably the closest to it.
Okay. I'm definitely have to check that out.
Joey's when it opens. There may be a pizza announcement coming in the next couple of years. Cool. I may figure something out.
Cool. That'd be awesome. Yeah, because something I like to do when I'm on the road, and you may have seen these, we do our tried that in a small town segment.
Okay.
When I go to festivals or we do our like rowdy on the roads, we go out to different shows like in small towns, and I'll just go in and I'll just eat. We'll just do it not to the level you guys are doing it. Yeah. And we do it. We don't play into the song at all. Okay. But like we're just like, hey, I'm Matt Burrill. This is tried that in a small town. It's like my New York Yankee ass going into these like small towns in like BFE, Alabama or Georgia or something like that. You're all
over the place.
So I like going to like these like barbecue joints, and like the South does do food very well. Like when it comes to like the home cooking kind of stuff, the comfort foods.
The mac and cheese.
Oh, dude. My first Thanksgiving down here, when I saw mac and cheese as a side for Thanksgiving dinner, my mind was blown.
Oh, yeah. And it should be.
Yeah.
Because mac and cheese is considered a vegetable down here.
Yeah, it is. And ranch isn't a salad dressing or something you dip celery into. It's a way of life.
It's a culture.
Yeah, dude.
Did you see this came out in like July. Did you see me chugging all these different ranches at the different restaurants?
No, but I'm gonna have to look and watch it.
Yeah, it didn't do that well. It had maybe 80,000 views. Like it was okay, but the best ranch in town is either San Antonio Taco Company or Mitchell's. ML Rose has a good ranch too.
ML Rose at all their locations, they're consistent.
Their ranch is great, but Mitchell's Deli, man, in East Nashville, I love Mitchell's. Thick ranch, but their ranch is good.
Yes, it's got a lot of good flavor. I love a good ranch.
Actually, you need to check out Fab Pizza too. He's a food truck, or he does pop-up vendors. His ranch is super unique. It's like more garlic base.
Oh, garlic ranch.
Yeah.
Mind blown. I like a good honey mustard too. If you know of a good place to find that. I don't know if you're a big honey mustard guy.
I like honey mustard with tenders, but like I don't eat it enough.
I do it with like fries. Okay. I'll put a fry.
I do barbecue sauce with fries. And if the fry's good, you shouldn't have any type of sauce.
Yeah, it should have enough seasoning. It should have the proper.
Speaking of fries, we just did a video called on Noco in East Nashville. They have these hurricane fries covered with this truffle aioli.
So it's like truffle fries on crack.
Oh, dude, out of this world.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take my girlfriend there.
But
she likes them truffle fries.
She'll love Noco too. She wants to spend some money. They have a 48-ounce a tomahawk steak for it's like $115.
Wow,
it's good. But we just got a comment on the Goat's truffle fries today, and I'm like, I've never had the truffle fries at the Goat.
I've never thought to get the truffle fries there.
I've never. I like their hot chicken biscuit. Like anytime I'm at. What's interesting is the last 3 weeks I've had coffee at the Goat like 9 times. And I'm like, why do I keep going to the Goat? Like, this is a massive corporation. It's just the convenience of it.
Yeah. And it is consistent enough, I think.
It is. It's consistent from Germantown to Mount Juliet to downtown Nashville. Yeah. It's consistent. So, which is kind of crazy that they're in those markets with that same brand. But whatever.
Yeah.
Any other food questions at all?
Where would you say is the next big spot in town that's going to be booming? Because I had heard because we're very involved in the bar scene with Raised Rowdy. Like we do events at Live Oak, which obviously that whole section of town is about to be changing and undergo.
Is the rumor true that Live Oak is moving to 2nd Avenue?
there's been some off the camera. But yeah, I mean, they had been moving to a space. I don't know if that is still 100% happening, but I know they did acquire the old BB Kings. So we'll see what happens with that.
So,
but like, where's the next section in town that you think people are going to be? Like, where's the next, like, the Gulch or, like, Midtown? Like, where's the next scene that's going to be popping in town from what you think?
So I get this question asked a lot, and
sure.
I actually bring commercial brokers around all the time. So we create content. We have the advertising on our platform. We do food and beverage consulting.
Okay.
I don't really talk about our services that often.
Yeah.
But we do food F&B consulting. Like, so we're helping open some bars in downtown. Some really cool options. And we're doing like menu consulting and cocktail consulting and some really cool things there. I look at real estate all the time because I'm like, I wish I could afford that, but I might as well just consult the people that can so I can make some money.
Yeah.
What's about to happen on the East Bank is going to be the biggest case study that's ever come out of a city. With the new Titan Stadium, with the 100 acres that Metro Nashville owns, with the idea of affordable housing there. That place is going to be prime. It is the most talked about real estate in America right now.
Wow.
It's the East Bank. Out of that, you have the East Bank, so you have downtown, you have the East Bank. Over here, you have Dickerson. Investors have been eyeballing Dickerson for a long time. Tyler Cobble, he's a great investor in this city. He owns the Wash. He owns a few of these different assets around town. He's been investing in Dickerson for the last 6 years. Dickerson's going to be huge. Murfreesboro is going to be even bigger. The reason for that is they've been reinvesting in the infrastructure on the roads. So the thing you need to be mindful of if you're looking at neighborhoods, if car dealerships start paving their parking lots, what's going to happen next is the fast food chains will renovate. What's going to happen from there is apartment complexes will come. It's happening on Murfreesboro right now. There's a opportunity zone across from that Burger King that's about to open near WKRN. Murfreesboro is prime for a potential light rail from the airport to downtown. Murfreesboro is going to be huge. But there's parts of this county, man, we are thriving.
Yeah.
In the entire metro statistical area, we're thriving. So out in Lebanon with these huge factories, like there's 5 or 6 big factory announcements coming very soon.
Yeah.
But up in Hendersonville, man, huge. And then what's happening in Gallatin? The city council in Gallatin just approved mixed-use development in their town square in downtown Gallatin.
Oh, wow.
It's huge. There's a 700-acre development happening in Gallatin. But it's happening everywhere in Middle Tennessee. So there's opportunity everywhere. You just have to find the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to know, man. You're just chock full. I can't wait for one day for the book to come out. Like you to write. I could see this all happening, man. Like
I've been in multiple conversations this year with ghostwriters.
Yeah.
Because my story is very fascinating. But I want to write a book on Nashville and Nashville history.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
Yeah, no, I would say that. That's my next question. When the heck do you sleep?
I have a 5-month-old, and
congratulations.
Thank you. I sleep sometimes, but I'm grateful that we did that 4-year grind of doing that podcast every single day. That was hard, but it gave us so much value proposition in the market with business owners that now we're here.
Yeah.
But I was sleeping less then than I do now. I was averaging maybe 5 hours of sleep. And I have to be with my wife. Like I have family things to take care of. Like
you're a husband, you're a dad,
yeah.
You're an involved member of your family back home.
And I'm very involved in the community. Like I'm in I'm in these chamber meetings. Like I'm doing these things. Like I'm very heavily involved. Like in different leaderships. Like I'm on the board of directors for my church. So like there's a lot that I'm doing. But yes, a book is coming. You're the first person to ask me in a media setting about it.
Awesome.
What I do for my side job is I do private luxury tours of the city of Nashville. through a company called Bespoke Experiences.
Okay.
And so like I have one tomorrow. I have one in a couple weeks. We're doing Louisville. We're doing Nashville. We're doing Memphis.
That's awesome.
And then I have another one with these British people coming to town, and I'm showing them Nashville for like 3 or 4 days. And that's what I do in my side job. But
is that because of the passion that you just have and how passionate you are about this city and how passionate you are of giving people those memories and experiences?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was going to say, that sounds like it's a passion thing for you.
I'm very prideful of the work I've done with Bespoke Experiences. It's been extraordinary moments, man. My favorite moment. There's been 2 of my favorite moments in Nashville. One was, both of them involve RCA Studio B. If you have not been,
incredible.
This is where Elvis Presley recorded 235 songs or so. A quarter of his library or a fourth of his library was recorded in this studio.
Yeah.
One moment that was really near and dear to my heart is I had the opportunity to be the ambassador for this husband and wife couple celebrating a 40 or 50 year anniversary.
Wow.
So we're in RCA Studio B. It was the couple, me as their ambassador, like their tour guide. And like I was there just in case they needed drinks. I was there in case they needed anything. Like I'm just there. I'm available. And there was a band that came in and played. And there was a videographer and the engineers. Dude, it was spectacular. It was a private concert for 3 hours. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But then my wife and I, we did a really cool thing where all of our family, she's born and raised here, so she's truly a unicorn. She went to college in Davidson
Horns
County.
up for the unicorns.
Yeah, she went to college here in Davidson County. She went to high school here in Davidson County.
Wow.
Like she was born in Davidson County. She has not left the county.
Wow.
From a living standpoint. But we did a thing called Wedding Week. And so it was her family and my family, all from New York and Pennsylvania and other parts. We did a thing called Wedding Week, and I planned out the most extraordinary things for my family. And we just explored Nashville for a full week with my family. But my favorite moment in all of Nashville was we were standing in RCA Studio B, and we did a buyout of RCA Studio B. And we all recorded an Elvis song together in the room. There's like 15 or 20 of us.
So cool.
And we recorded this Elvis song. My mentor was there. His family was there. My family was there. My wife's like, and we just, we recorded this Elvis song together, and we have it on CD now. And like, I can go back to that moment. I can go back to that memory, listen to that song, and remember the entire day. And so I love creating memorable experiences for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Dude, yeah. I'm so glad that I got to have you on this podcast.
Thanks,
bro.
man.
Seriously, because
I'm trying to do the rounds, man.
Yeah, dude. And with outside the round with this podcast, it's like we have a mixture. We obviously are like very music based.
Yeah.
We do all of our events here in town. Last month we did 13 live music events in town. This month was 11. Next month will be
That's
like
hard,
I think
man.
12 or 13. Yeah, and it's when we work with the folks at Winners and Losers. We work with the folks at Live Oak. Do events out here at the Rusty Nail that are a lot of fun.
Yeah,
like we bounce around and go to like festivals and just try to be like how you are to the city of Nashville and like showcases and giving people those experiences. We're trying to do that in like the songwriter community, the music scene, and just
That's
be
awesome,
good
man.
members of the community without being songwriters ourselves or artists, like having any of that. So it's really cool to have you on here because
Thanks, man.
the story, dude. This is our first time. This is our first time actually meeting. Like sitting down.
We've been at it for an hour and a half.
Yeah, dude. The power of the DM and just reaching out to folks. And with Outside the Round, we're getting ready to start doing 2 episodes a week now that we're releasing. Which I don't know how the heck you did 4 or 5 episodes a week, recording and releasing daily.
Oh, dude, we automated everything. We pressed the button, boom.
Okay,
boom,
yeah.
boom,
Which we're starting to get it. We're starting to get
yeah.
more into that stuff. Like it's a lot, but we're starting to have on folks that are in the Nashville community or athletes from different places or just different people in our network that are outside of music. And having you on as one of our first guests in that, man, it was an honor. Seriously, man. So if they're not following you already, which a lot of the folks watching I'm sure are, where can people go to find you?
XPLR.NASH, XPLR.NASH. You can show the sticker right there. XPLR.NASH. The name came from my love for exploration, and I wanted to highlight Nashville. So XPLR.NASH, that's our name. You can DM us, but if you want more of like a one-on-one experience, I don't know if you ever heard of the application Manek.
I have not.
It's an application from Patrick Bet-David and his team, and they're huge YouTubers. And basically, if you want to connect with me, you can connect me. You pay for my time. So I could ask questions. You can ask me questions through text. I can respond through text, audio, or video. That's a little bit more expensive.
That's good.
So there is that. My team tries. We get a lot of DMs, so we try to respond to almost everything. There's a lot of things we don't respond to because I got a request the other day of eating food with my shirt off, and I'm like, dude, no. If you go through my comments, man, like go through the comments, and like there's this guy that's consistently do it with your shirt off. I'm like, dude, stop, you're weird. I'm not eating food without my shirt off.
Thanks for the comment.
First off,
the algorithm.
Thank you for that boost. But like, man, I've been a big guy my entire life, and yes, I have experienced moments of self-consciousness. I'm not doing. I don't even swim with my shirt off. Like, come on, bro. So yeah, XPLR.NASH. We're on Instagram. Our website's terrible. That's getting built out. We have an application coming out.
Awesome.
We are going to get into very big live events.
Awesome.
With a couple hundred people every time.
Exciting.
So XPLR.NASH, check us out. I'm about to get a tattoo with XPLR.NASH too. So that's going to be fun. So,
awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff. Well, Stuart, man, appreciate you so much for coming on. Y'all be sure to check out XPLR.NASH. Hit up our man Stuart, and be on the lookout for big events coming into town. Amazing. Continuing the amazing content of all the different facets of Middle Tennessee, and get on that trip to Italy. Yeah,
so we should be going public with that. I don't know when your episode comes out.
This will be coming out like early April.
Okay. Yeah, the other episode I was just on is April 3rd. We should be making announcements April, maybe May.
Okay, so insider, you guys can
I'm
mark the calendar.
I'm out of town for like 10 days in April, and so like I just need to get a lot of content made. But we should be making that announcement. There's only 24 seats.
Yeah.
Tickets are going to sell out fast. We have some killer people going with us, like head of marketings for a few different companies. Like,
that'd be awesome.
It's how I'm envisioning this trip to Italy. It's a time of deep connection. It's a time of networking. So if you want to network with some high caliber people, this is where you need to be. Yeah.
Awesome. That's incredible, dude. Seriously.
But other trips coming in 2025 too.
Oh,
yeah. Not just Italy.
Very excited about all that. Y'all be sure to check out XPLR.NASH. Hit up our man Stuart, and thank you guys as always for watching, listening. You guys want to find out more about us? Visit raisedrowdy.com. You can also look up, of course, Outside the Round. Be sure to subscribe, rate, follow the podcast, tell your mama and them. For my man Stuart, I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Outside the Round.